dipersembahkan oleh BRI Syariah.
So, Your Excellency, I'm pretty much into Sharia banking industry, and we mentioned something. We discussed something about green economy, right? So, how do Sharia banking industries can really support the green economy?
I think it would be natural in a way to have an expanded version of halal, and I think green economy.
Green economy is halal economy. Right?
Is halal economy because I think if you think about it, it is not in accordance with Islam or any religion to destroy nature.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think there's a role for the Islamic banking industry to develop criteria for green economy and green enough companies. I would hope that more of the financial industry would follow in that. I think it makes sense because I think the companies who are green, they have probably better policies on sustainability in general, which means that in the long term they'll make more money. Also, they will have less problems with their public relations. And also, I think they will attract better talent because I think people are prouder when they work in a company that has good sustainable policies.
Good attitude to the nature.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I would really encourage the Islamic banking sector at really starting the process of looking at this. And I know there are no easy answers, but I think you should probably start at identifying what are the criteria for really serious green policy.
We have that in Indonesia. I mean, we've been developing that in not just in Sharia banking industry, but also in Sharia capital market industry. But in Indonesia, we call it Sharia, not really Islamic, because we want to make it a little bit soft and a little bit more inclusive to any religions in Indonesia. Now, I would like to, know more about your family, because I've searched that I've known several about your family. You come from Norway, but your wife comes from Afghanistan, right? And you have children, of course. And how do you manage to melt this multicultural, multinationals, I would call it, things into your family? How do you manage that?
I think it's a very good question, because I think this is a question that societies also have to ask themselves, just like families. I think again, I think mutual respect is where it starts. I think for us, my wife, as you said, she's from Afghanistan, but she lived in Norway for a long time before we met.
Okay.
I come from Norway, but I actually had lived in Afghanistan for a long time before I met her in Norway. So I think we both knew at least quite a bit about each other's cultures. Interestingly, my link to Islam is through a Sunni, more Sufi tradition, while my wife is a Shia.
Wow.
For us, that is zero problems. To me, the important thing is not if you call yourself a Sunni or a Shia or a Catholic or a Protestant or a Buddhist. I think it's about the core values. And I think in all true religions, some of those values are the same. Of course, we have the issue of languages. Our main language at home is Norwegian.
Okay.
But our children speak English in school. But then their mother, my wife, tries to speak Farsi with the children. I also know a little bit of Farsi, but I think the Farsi language has been suffering a little bit after we came to Indonesia. I'm also trying to learn Indonesian, so it's actually a problem for me to speak Farsi now. I can understand Farsi still, but whenever I try to speak Farsi, I speak Indonesian instead.
So do you find that very interesting then? I mean, to mix all of those, how do you call that, variations, diversifications in not just, you know, the languages, but also the cultures. And you mentioned something about the way of thinking, we call it in Islam mazahib, right? Like the Sunni, like the Shia. And what else? I mean, what else do you find pretty much interesting in melting, you know, those differentiations within your life?
I think in a way, your implicit knowledge, your knowledge about culture, about the world, is of course much bigger when you have people from different backgrounds. I think this is why some of the most vibrant societies in terms of culture, in terms of food, and in terms of economy are of course cities that are multicultural. New York, Singapore, Jakarta. Some of the most interesting cities in the world are multicultural. I think in a family also, it gives an extra edge to it, as long as I think I enjoy Afghan food, I enjoy Afghan music, I enjoy the stories of my parents-in-law. And I think as a family we're much richer, of course, because we have more food traditions than most families. We have more information in a way.